Every immigrant living in the United States will tell you that the Biden administration has been a huge relief to those who don't have legal status.
We've been running this law firm for over 12 years and we've not witnessed any better favorable adjudication like we are having nowadays.
What we do is serve people. Majority of practice in the area of immigration law, and we serve people all over the United States. My partner Wanjohi is also licensed and active in Kenya, so we do handle a lot of matters in Kenya as well.
In our show today, I sit down with Charles Wanjohi and Muli Raburu, co-owners of Wanjohi and Muli law firm based in the US and in Kenya, to update us on the current immigration status in the US. Every immigrant living in the United States will tell you that the Biden administration has been a huge relief to those who don't have legal status. The Trump presidency, on the other hand, was very anti-immigrant. They put in place a lot of harsh immigration policies and practices that made those who are in the country illegally live in constant fear of deportation. In our show today, I sit down with Charles Wanjohi and Muli Raburu, co-owners of Wanjohi and Muli law firm based in the US and in Kenya, to update us on the current immigration status in the US. Welcome.
My name is Charles Wanjohi and I'm an immigration attorney licensed in the state of New York and Washington. We practice in our law firm called Wanjohi and Muli law firm, which is founded and owned by Kenyans.
I was in Seattle 2 weeks ago. There was an issue, so somebody was talking about, can you get in touch with Wanjohi and Muli? That's when I realized that was an issue. But Charles, I'm here specifically because it's been quite a while since we discussed the whole idea of immigration as it affects the diaspora. When I did the interview with you, it was, I think Trump had just been elected the president, and that time the situation was very, very, very uncomfortable for many people. Could you just give us a brief of where we are right now as we stand, as what's the status of the American immigration situation?
Thank you so much. I can say now it's a common sense immigration system. During that time, the last 4 years, during the entire presidency of President Trump, it was not a common sense immigration system.
Yeah.
They did not know what they needed, but they were sure of the goals they had for immigrants. For those who are here in immigrants, those who are intending to immigrate here, it just made life difficult. But as we are here, at least immigrants are no longer living in daily fears. Immigrants now have hopes that one day they are going to settle here. And there is a lot of reasonableness in adjudication of their cases. So this is now the America which a lot of us dreamt of while we are back in our country. And we are hopeful that that trade will continue being the operational start of this country.
Charles, speak briefly about the first, I don't know what you mean when you say the situation is better, because as far as I know, we've never had any comprehensive immigration issues since I think it's 85, since the Reagan days.
Yes, of course, as you know, the way the US operates, there is, to make a law in this country is not easy, because there has to be an agreement between the Senate and Congress and the House of Representatives. And it's been a tough issue. Immigration reforms has been one of the issues which unite America, but it never happens. So there hasn't been like what we may call comprehensive changes. But immigrants, we are okay with the reasonable execution of the immigration laws, because what normally happens is that despite the law not being so much helpful to immigrants, the American system has got something we call discretion in application of laws. So you'll find that a government officer has got a lot of discretion whether to make your life bearable or unbearable. So President Biden's administration has decided to exercise a lot of discretion, a favorable one for that case. So immigrants, we are facing very nice time. And for example, nowadays people are not being placed in removal proceedings like it used to be. Anytime during the Trump presidency, anytime an immigrant is caught, automatically they are being placed in removal proceedings, which is also called normally known deportation. So you could not escape.
That's right.
But today, with the President Biden administration, what they look at is whether you are in danger to the United States. If you are a criminal, you'll be placed in deportation. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, so to say, of the United States, even not a citizen but a resident of the United States, you will not be placed in deportation. And when you make an application is denied, you will not necessarily be placed in removal proceedings, which was the case during Trump's time. So there has been a lot of favorable exercise of discretion during this presidency, and we as immigrants, we are really enjoying it. When we come to us as practitioners, life is a little bit easier because it was hard. I remember we went with you to Denver, Colorado. It was actually a very bad case. A gentleman had been in for, he'd been sentenced, I think it was 19 years. He was in for 5 years, and then he's being told to go back to his country. He knew nothing, not know Swahili, did not have any family in Kenya. But luckily we managed to get him out, and I remain thankful because you came as an expert and you helped the young man. So when you look at such cases, they are not happening a lot nowadays because people are not being arrested the way they are being arrested. And when you, in case you find yourself in removal proceedings, a lot of cases are being dismissed. Actually, over the last 1 year, a lot of removal proceeding cases have just been dismissed. And all what the Department of Homeland Security are looking at is proper usage of the limited government resources. So they are fighting, instead of spending a lot of resources trying to deport a young man or an old lady or an old man or a couple who have never committed any crime in this country.
Currently, what are the cases that you're handling, you see mostly? Who is coming to you for legal advice when it comes to immigration?
A lot of people now are regularizing their stay here. So we find that a lot of people now have got the courage to they have got the courage to apply for green card. Those who are married, they are not afraid so much coming out of the woods. They are here, they apply. So a lot of people are applying for green card, and the adjudication has been one of the most favorable we have ever witnessed. We've been running this law firm for over 12 years, and we've not witnessed any better favorable adjudication like we are having nowadays. And green cards, this is the time for anyone who think they are eligible to apply for green card. This is the time for them to apply because they are getting it. Then as I mentioned, those people who are in deportation, a lot of it is being dismissed. Over the last, maybe the whole of this year, we have not even had a single person who has been deported.
Wow, that's great.
So we are so happy about it. A lot of cases have been dismissed to an extent that most of the time nowadays, once we appear before a judge, the first thing the judge asks the government, are you willing to dismiss this case? And a lot of times the government is willing to dismiss cases. Then we also do a lot of asylum cases. There are a lot of people who end up here for one or two reasons. They are afraid of going back to their country. those reasons I may not be able to state them here on air, but those will help them. It's quite a large number, and we have seen tremendous success in them. We still apply for them, and they are going for interviews, and they are being granted asylum. So they are not deported, and they end up, after 1 year they apply for a green card, and after 5 years they get citizenship. So those cases we are doing a lot of them. And then we are also finding a lot of people who they have got employers who are petitioning for them. Under President Trump, there had been a reduction to the number of people who could immigrate here through employment. Now the numbers have been ramped up, and a lot of people now are coming in. So mostly those are the cases we are dealing with: green card, asylum, employment-based cases. We are dealing with a lot of them. Deportation, that's always the default case, because anyone who has gone through the immigration system without success, they end up being deported, and we defend them. And I can tell you, last year and this year, we have had a lot of success. We've never had such success since we started running this law firm. This year, as I mentioned, there has not been a single case of deportation of any of our clients. So it's getting better.
My name is Wanjohi and Muli. I am an attorney. I am licensed in the state of North Carolina. I practice a lot of civil and criminal matters, but a bulk of my practice is immigration law. So with immigration law, we are licensed to practice in all of the states of the United States. Our main offices are in Raleigh, North Carolina. I physically live in the Washington, D.C. area. We also have offices in Seattle, Washington, Dallas, Texas, and Boston, Massachusetts. So I am in charge of being up and about in all the offices, and that's what we do on offer services to our community.
How is the situation as it is right now as we speak?
As far as a comprehensive immigration reform, that has not yet happened, but we remain very hopeful. We have come very close to it under various administrations. So we're hopeful that this would be the time that we will be able to get that to happen, to have the immigration reform happen. We are in under a different administration. It has been a tough 4 years with the previous administration. With this administration, we kind of have like a sigh of relief. So we don't have the reform yet, but things are different. And we are grateful for the small steps that are being taken to get us there. It's a matter of Congress to be able to pass the act, but with the current administration, we have the policing is being done different. The processing by the officers is being done different. So for the little wins that we have, we are very appreciative of that. The reform is not there, but we're taking steps to an easier and a better life for immigrants in the United States.
So we can say comfortably that the situation is a little better in the Biden administration that, of course, it was in the Trump administration.
It's not a little better, it is a lot better. We breathe much easier. The load is much lighter. The anxiety that was there has greatly decreased. So it's not a little, it's a lot. We're very, very grateful for our current situation right now.
So as Muli and Wanjohi, what kind of cases are you dealing with right now? Mostly, who are you assisting mostly right now?
We are a service-based industry, so what we do is serve our people. We have a call to serve, and that is what we do. I am licensed in the state of North Carolina. My partner Wanjohi is licensed in the state of Washington and the state of New York. So in those individual states, we handle a bunch of civil matters and criminal matters. I am a litigator at heart, so I do a lot of family law matters, a lot of criminal matters that we handle before the court, and we just assist whoever needs the help, whoever needs the service. That is who we serve. And again, all over the United States, we serve people who are in need of immigration legal services, but in the individual states, we'll handle family law matters, and we'll handle criminal matters and other civil matters as well.
Oh, in fact, when I was coming, what I know of Wanjohi and Muli is just immigration. because I'm a Kenyan journalist. I know we deal with this the diaspora. We have so many issues with immigration. That's why I'm also learning something that you beyond just immigration, you deal with family issues. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so family law is vast. I deal with those matters as basic as far as uncontested divorces, but we also handle issues of domestic violence matters. We handle contested domestic matters. We handle equitable distribution of property and debt. We handle child support. We handle child custody. We handle prenuptial agreements. We handle postnuptial agreements. We handle what we call collaboration divorces as well, whereby we can try to work things outside of court. So all issues of family law, we handle a lot of those. And like I said, I'm a litigator at heart, so a lot of my practice will be involved around family law matters in the state of North Carolina.
We were in a period of lockdowns during COVID-19. Those were trying moments, especially for families, and specifically for immigrants, because one of the things that we realized over time is that, immigrants may have domestic violence issues at home, but because of the fear of reporting, they don't come out. They don't reach out to people like you. First, speak to that period and the specter of the rise in domestic violence especially, and also to that person who is living with a partner that is very violent and they don't know what to do because they don't have the papers as we speak.
So the time of COVID, things were difficult. I mean, it was difficult for everybody, but more so as to immigrants. In regular, for what you could call it, quote unquote, regular domestic violence situations, you'd have the opportunity that if there's an issue in the house, somebody would walk out and go away, go stay somewhere for a week, go stay somewhere for a night. We call it the cooling off period, and be able to come back. During COVID, during the lockdown, there was nowhere to go to. So you were stuck in the house, you were at home with your abuser. So things were difficult. So we have the issue, number one, being unable to report due to the fear of being immigrants. Many people do not have legal status, and even if they do, they don't want that exposure out there. I don't want my name to be out there that the police have been called to my home or about any kind of contact whatsoever with law enforcement. In addition to that, we have cultural issues that break my heart, that I am not allowed to say what is happening. I'm not supposed to tell anybody what is happening, and the fear that because you have left home and you have come here, you're trying to be like the people in America. Domestic violence is universal. And what has happened is that it's a lot back home in Kenya. And then when you come here, you are required by this culture that people speak of to not speak up, to let things keep happening like they are happening back home. Because the assumption is that what will the police do? What will anybody do to be able to help me? But here there is help, there is solution that you can speak out. So we have that issue of being unable to speak up, of the fear of law enforcement, who again, the issue of domestic violence, they're there to help. And of course, the publicity that we have about law enforcement is negative, so nobody wants any kind of contact with them, even though you want the help. And we're trying to let people know that they have rights, that they can speak up, and it's not okay. And it doesn't matter what level of abuse is abuse. And emotional abuse is really big among our community. Even the fact that because people would learn that I can't physically abuse you, because if I physically abuse you, there'll be evidence and I might get arrested. People are abused emotionally and abused financially and are just beaten down years and years. We're coming from a culture whereby we believe that that is okay and that's how it's supposed to happen. That is absolutely not the case. So COVID period saw that come up a whole lot, which was sad, but also enlightening at the same time. But as a community, we have to do better. We have to do better. We're really big on supporting each other when things are bad, but not on issues of domestic violence. Let's keep those confidential. Let's just keep that quiet. But what happens is that you keep empowering the abusers, and we have to find a way to put an end to that. We are a law firm, and what we do is serve people. majority of practice in the area of immigration law, and we serve people all over the United States. My partner Wanjohi is also licensed and active in Kenya, so we do handle a lot of matters in Kenya as well. The United States, in the state of Washington, in the state of New York, in the state of North Carolina, we handle both civil and criminal matters that range from family issues and business issues as well. Criminal matters as simple as a traffic ticket to higher level misdemeanors. We do very few felonies, but we do a lot of high level misdemeanors as well. So we're here to serve our people however it is that we can be able to serve, to offer guidance, and also in the fact that people always think that the only reason I want a lawyer is because I'm in trouble, but we need to have the change the mindset that would consult somebody before we make a decision, before we make a move, and know the consequences of what your actions are. So we'd like to also be able to be there for the community, to offer advice, to offer guidance of consequences of what actions you may take, what it would do. We're looking to open businesses, what ideas and points do we have regarding that, because we've done that ourselves. So any way that we can do that, we have been there, that we can be able to offer a service, so that people will be glad to do that. We came here as well to go to school, and several years we're still here. So any thing that we have gone through that we can be able to offer you as a service, doesn't have to be a legal issue, we'll be glad to serve.
Oh, okay. So basically, what happens here? I see a lot of if somebody needs legal advice, are they supposed to come? How do you communicate with the people who are?
You're absolutely welcome to come anytime that you want to, but you can give us a call at any time. Our phone number is 919-578-3691. You can also reach us toll free at 1-800-WAKILIS, WAKILIS.
Okay.
So give us a call, and we are open anytime between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and someone can assist you. Then once you give the office a call, they'll get you connected to one of us.
So in the recent past, what kind of calls have you been receiving in terms of those people who need legal guidance?
Oh, they range from people who are asking to see what kind of services do we offer, from people who are in actual in need of immediate legal services. And of course, we have an array of clients as well who call to catch up on their cases, find out where their cases are, get updates on their cases as well. So we do have a great array of phone calls that we get on a daily basis.
We do a lot of family law also.
Yes, we do.
So what kind of cases come up? Basically, especially from the Kenyan community in the diaspora.
From the Kenyan community, as simple as an uncontested, as simple as an uncontested divorce. We handle a lot of those. We have many cases whereby one spouse is in the U.S., another spouse is in Kenya. We handle a lot of our uncontested cases would have that situation. Contested as well, be able to assist people to get service for a partner who is in Kenya. We also have a lot of issues about cases, divorces in Kenya and in the US, whereby people did not have an actual divorce, people did not get to register their marriage when they're supposed to register their marriage, so they are not considered actual marriages. So we handle a lot of those, giving legal opinion as to whether or not the marriage is even a valid marriage for it to be considered here in the United States based on the law in Kenya. Like I said, Wanjohi is licensed in Kenya and actively practices there as well. So we handle a lot of those, giving a legal opinion as to the validity of marriages as well. And then we also handle issues of division of property, division of debts, as far as child custody is concerned, child support as well. We do also prenuptial agreements before people get married. We also handle postnuptial agreements after separation with the intent of getting divorced.
Just at the top of your head, can you say that in a case that you settled that you felt very proud and you still feel proud about that?
This is a case of a lady. She had been grossly abused by her husband in Kenya, unfortunately. She was a victim of domestic violence with lasting medical situation. So she came here and she sought assistance from other lawyers, American-based lawyers. A lot of them rejected her. They declined to represent her, and 8 years, on her 8th year here in the US, we met in a certain community function, and she explained her case, and we discussed with my partner, and we said this is a very difficult case, but this lady deserved to have comfort. She deserved to have peace of mind. So we went ahead, and the process involved some state government officers, and they did not assist us. So we were facing an uphill task all the way to the end. But fortunately, once we took her to USCIS and we assisted her to present her case, we ended up doing an asylum for her. So many years after she had been here, and you're supposed to file for asylum within 1 year. So once we did that, it was tough. It involved other lawyers who were against her getting it, but fortunately she ended up getting asylum, and later got a green card. Now she's a citizen applying for her children. So that's our happiest case. A lady who had been here, suffered in Kenya, continued suffering here medically in the US, no help from even other attorneys, and we were able to resolve her case. That's my happiest case.
Awesome. Viewers, I've been talking to Charles Wanjohi and his partner Muli. They're based here in Raleigh, North Carolina. The reason I came here to speak to them is because, like Charles said, the environment is very good. Right now, there's that window when President Joe Biden is still the president. And like Charles says, the environment is very good. If you have an immigration issue, please get in touch. I'll say get in touch with them, because at least I know them, and I've worked with Charles and his partner, and I know what they're able to do. But of course, there are other Kenyan lawyers that you can get in touch with. So we do this because as a community, we understand that it's very hard to live in this country if you don't have the right papers. We call it makaratasi kikwetu. So when we want to speak our language, kama hauna makaratasi inakuwa shida mingi sana. Lakini kwa vizuri sasa hizi watu kama Charles and his partner wamejitolea to assist you. So if you have a case like that, get in touch. Barely 2 years, we don't know what is going to happen after the elections in 2024. That's why it's the urgency of now. My name is Chris Omalo, and it's been my pleasure hosting you from North Carolina, and I've been speaking to Charles Wanjohi and his partner, talking about immigration, giving us an update of what the immigration situation is in America. It's been quite a while. Let's see you again in our next episode.